Good evening, everyone. What's going on, the illustrious Cigarden Panel? How's everyone's evening been or day been so
Good,
far?
good. How you guys doing?
It's all peace, power, and profit, family. Yeah, we here.
Yeah,
So let's get to it, right? Everybody good?
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm good.
So good evening
Happy
and welcome
Sunday.
to Cigar Sundays. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always joined by the illustrious Cigarden Panel with at I am Jazz Garcelle and Ali Dawood L at BK Soul Farm across all social media platforms. If this is your first time joining us, I encourage you to check out some of the wonderful things that we have for everyone. The link is in the description. Also, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, DB Chef TV Network has a host of other channels with a lot of good content coming your way soon. So you can pre-subscribe if you want, or go to www.dbchefdv.com, TV.com. Hold up. Let me get that. Let me do that over. www.dbcheftv.com and sign up for our newsletter, and everything that is upcoming will be in the newsletter. Yes.
All right. I'm excited for tonight's show, guys. Are you guys excited? I got that text, that link with the topic, and I was like, culture, culture, culture.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
man.
I love culture conversations, but this was a real specific aspect, right? So that was real interesting. So I'm really excited about that conversation, right? Because it's not just culture and what it means, but we actually got a real good topic. So yeah, let's get to it.
All right. What is Black culture? All right. That's in the caption. And
That is a huge, broad statement. I mean,
it's a lot. We're gonna try to peel it back, peel back the layers. The title is, Can ethnic groups that don't specifically support each other qualify as a culture or community? I asked this question because I'm gonna be politically correct. Okay. There are some other cultures from our last Cigar Sundays that we have identified having positive stereotypes. And
mhm.
that specific community that we identified, well, those specific communities, all of them, all right? But one we say identifies with money. We say they have money. So we
Right.
have to ask the question. So I begin to think, like, is it the having of the money, or is it the things that are done to ensure that they have the money?
That thing.
That's deep.
Because
I like
because
that.
because what I have experienced is everyone is comfortable with just they have the money, but there isn't an effort to study, why does this group have money? And I don't think it's negative at all. I think that, like, from every single ethnic group, we should be able to study and take good stuff. Like, we all as humans take good things that we value and apply them. Good things that we learn and apply them. So,
Right. To ourselves.
right, to ourselves, to our family,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much to ourselves though, absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
but also in our course of businesses, in our course of daily activity, because
Mm-hmm.
you learn things and you apply it where it fits
Right
if
where
you
it's
deem it
needed.
applicable. So so the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to break down something that I wanted to break down Black culture, because yeah, we pick and choose words, but I think the root of this problem is not even an understanding, just a true uh awareness of what the word is and how it's being identified versus uh versus what we make it as. Okay, like when we go back to
Mm-hmm.
the first episode, picking and choosing words. So this is still a word that gets picked and choose. So the the first thing, the first word I want us to examine um is the definition of Black. Okay. And this is just a random definition. I mean, a random search on YouTube. This isn't like any particular literary text. Um and we have Black. So the first thing we have is of the very darkest, owing to the absence of or complete absorption of light, the opposite of white. Then we have two. These are the adjectives, okay? Like Black power, or uh Black freedom, or Black justice. All right. And then we have belonging to or denoting a human group having dark colored skin, especially of sub-Saharan African ancestry. So as an adjective, it says this actual definition said he discusses the position of Black people in America. I think that's what we're doing right now. All right. Then we have the noun, person, place, or thing, right? Black color or pigment. All right. So I think that's going right there to back
That's
to the
everybody.
adjective, right? The saying is like the noun's the adjective again. But this one right here, this noun is one that we're going to examine further throughout this conversation. The situation of not owing money to a bank or of making a profit in a business operation. The situation of not owing money to a bank or of making a profit in a business operation. Okay. Now the verb make black, blacken. In the culinary world, it's a dish. A lot of people do blackened chicken, any type of blackened fish, blackened pork chops. Um, it's a lot of things that you can blacken. All right. I'm not too cool with that verb, so we're not even going to promote that. We're not even going to read that off. But the second verb is one that I definitely want to examine with the second noun. And I'm gonna read it the way it's written, and then I'm gonna read it the way it's supposed to be read. Black definition of a verb two refuse to handle goods, undertake work, or have dealings with a person or business as a way of taking industrial action. Okay.
Damn.
Now that's the way it's written. Now, how I'm going to read it is black definition 2. Refuse to handle goods, refuse to undertake work, refuse to have dealings with a person or business as a way of taking industrial action. Okay. Now, this is the way that I see that it's been going on. All right. The way I read it the second way. I tend to see more of that. But let's check out what is industrial action. So I'm not going to read this whole thing. All right. But I encourage you to go, it's on Wikipedia, and read the whole thing. But what I am going to read is this part here. This part that I'm going to highlight. Industrial action may take place in the context of a labor dispute or may be meant to affect political or social change. Industrial action may take place in the context of a labor dispute or may be meant to affect political or social change. This form of communication tends to be their only means to voice their concerns about safety and benefits. Okay. Now let's go back to this black definition real quick right here. This verb, this action word. All right. Refuse to handle goods, refuse to undertake work, refuse to have dealings with a person or business as a way of taking industrial action. Okay. Where do we begin, family? Because that's just black right there. We didn't even get the culture yet.
Yeah, they didn't even. Ugh, this is a lot. Yeah, no, definitely specifically when you're talking about the blackening. Actually, wow, that's wild. I mean, because they're talking about food mostly, so that's a completely different, way to look at it. I understand what they're saying because they're talking about a process of becoming black or charred or what have you in the process of, your cooking or what have you. So that's completely different. Um, and then the industrial business side of it, um, yeah, but mainly I was focused on the what are you guys smiling about? The sub-Saharan part.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yep.
sub-Saharan part. That if you could pull that one up, or share it again, that definition about the people being from an African part of something about sub-Saharan.
The adjective to belonging to
Yeah, the
or denote
the
a
adjective.
human
Yeah,
group having dark colored skin, especially of sub-Saharan African ancestry. That's how it reads.
yeah.
Yep.
I think that one is the most um kind of realistic almost when it in terms of quote unquote black people, but at the same time, I mean, who am I to say what's black and what isn't black? Because there's people that they might say they're black, but we might say they're not black. But who are we to say? You know, because it's it's also going back to the topic of culture. It's in your culture and what you represent inside out, and what you choose to put out to the world as your culture, or what you stand for as in being a black person or African American or just being black and what that means for you as being a Black person, to completely void of all the definitions, just what a person feels like is Blackness to them. But those definitions are very interesting. And I understand it's, classic dictionary, um, jargon.
Is it
Yeah.
jargon or is it what's being taught?
It,
Nah,
it's
so
what's being taught. I'm just calling it that.
Because
but
when I
isn't it
looked
kind
it
of what
up,
it is though?
like this is what popped up. So I could be
Right.
anybody else just looking it up saying
It's official. Yeah, so that's what people will
It's
see and people will learn as being Black, the definitions.
possibly until you meet someone and then
Right, right, of course.
then they show you who they are as a human being. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it goes beyond their quote unquote Blackness
Maybe
as being the race Black. It's a lot to uncover. It's a lot.
let's unpack it. Let's unpack it.
It's a
now
lot.
like for me, right? Like if you, I like the dictionary definition because it's safe, um, and you really can't go against it. The only thing you can do is petition to change it, right? If you disagree with it, but
Right. Which
it
people
really,
rarely do with the dictionary.
which mean it is, right? So if it's there like that, then that's kind of what it is, right? And we just got to take
Yeah.
it for that. So and when you look at that one we just got finished talking about the sub-Saharan African piece, that's pretty much, everybody that's in our situation, right? The whole diaspora, everybody that's caught up in the Maafa, right? The whole continent, Brazil, all that.
Right.
Um, when you talk about when you put culture on that thought process, that's an impossibility because that's way too many people that would have to accept one reality of origin, right? We would have
Hmm.
to absolutely um, accept that there are no African Americans or African Caribbeans or African Africans, right? Like we all just organic family. Like that would have to be the you would just be my sister, you would just be my brother from another mother, literally, right? And if we had
Hmm.
issues, it'd be like civil rivalry. Like it would be like, but like I said, impossibility. That's like a we shall overcome. That's
Let's get to
that's a
that.
that's a utopia that I don't necessarily, accept. But when you talk about the action part, the industrial action, that's an interesting viewpoint. If you could put that back up on the screen, right? Because the sentence that they had underneath the definition was referring to people going on strike,
Hmm.
right?
This right here
And
or the industrial action? Which one? The
then the
industrial.
industrial act.
Mhm.
I can't. Oh man, I gotta flip it so I can see it.
They.
Like when you had the I forget where it was at. I think it was on. I think it
Right
was
here.
there. Yeah, because it had the sentence right there. The union. It said the union black the film because overtime was not being paid.
Correct.
Right, like that. Right underneath that, what it say? Boycott.
Boycott.
All right, that's that
Embargo.
embargo. You know what I mean? Like those are things that we actually have seen work in the past, right? But it
UPS
did,
just got paid.
right? Um, so they do work, but it do take everybody accepting the need to do a thing, right? And accepting the reality that, we might have to walk a little bit,
Might have to walk a little bit.
right? Like that's the thing, right? Like I think one of your first questions was how did it go? Oh man, is it the money or maintaining the money or something like that?
Is it the money that we can't get past because we acknowledge the stereotype,
Yeah,
that
but
certain culture has.
yeah.
but we
It's not.
just but we just
It's
stay there at acknowledging it, but we don't do anything to study why do they have that? Oh, it's
Right. Why do
yeah.
they
something
have that
in
money?
this
We
thing
don't.
called Kwanzaa, called cooperative economics. And like, if like certain things, I don't own a mortgage company. I don't own a grocery store. I do
Right.
not own a car dealership. All right. But together we can own that. Or I can just work hard and, what I'm saying, get some money, and then I can own one of them by myself because nobody wants to work together. All right.
That's not a win.
Now, but if I do this, right? If I say, after I pay my mortgage, my insurances, my health insurances, and buy my groceries and water bill and everything else that we got to pay, all right, to live. And I say, whatever I have left, I'm going to obligate a portion of that to spend with a black business. Just something. I'm gonna find something that I need. It don't have to be wasteful. Okay. It can be something that I actually need, that I source, knowing that it's not about, they might get their products from China. They might get their products from, you know, a Latino Hispanic person. They may get their products from a Southwestern Asian Pacific person. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
the money is being spent with them. So the idea is that if they take some money and do the same thing and they do the same thing, then now that group that we say got money, that's what they doing.
They're
Because
making money.
they're making money and making sure that
Oh, definitely. They're
another
definitely
person,
making money.
who shares the same ideas as them, right? Because all groups of people, business groups, ain't that what business groups do? Like investment groups, they invest in each other's, right? They
Yeah,
get
but
together, they all individuals, they have money, but this is just on a
Right. But if
level
a collective, if
of
they're
an
a group,
ethnic
they
identity.
get more money.
they accept. They all accept the reality of their situation, right? They accept their obligation. They accept their individual responsibilities, right? Like they accept their role and they do that, right? And they accept the story. They accept that they are part of a group. Like for us, primarily, I think I said last time, like necessarily we don't have a culture specifically for Black people in America, right? We are part of the American culture, right? That's the one culture that we all share in this country. We all had the same TV, went to church the same way, listen to the same music, got the same school for the most part, right? So we think the same way, right? We don't have an opposite, right?
Well, I kind of
Let's talk about it.
disagree.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
Already.
talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I hear what you're saying about like, Black people, and maybe I'm talking more specific as to an individual's way of living and way of, like culture being food, church, what have you. But I know what you mean. Like Black people, we have the same quote unquote culture, but we really don't. I mean, like when I think of Black culture, I think of, religion, no matter what religion you are. But I think that Black people, our religion is very close to us. It's very sacred, and it's a big part of who we are. Not, I mean, obviously not the majority. I mean, there's numbers and whatnot, but I think um, religion is a part of the Black culture, and I mean, obviously, hip hop is a part of the Black culture, and I wouldn't say that that's a stereotype because you know hip hop was founded in New York in by Black people or brown people, you know, um, the blues, R&B, jazz, all that was founded by Black people, and that's a big part of our culture. And, yeah, that's entertainment, but you know what? There's also educated Black people that have founded things and invented things as well. I don't think that our culture is just, you know, pigeonholed into one specific thing. We have so many different things about our Black culture that are unique and that are amazing. Um, you know, and even when people say soul food, I would say that goes back to the roots of no pun intended roots. Um,
You sure? You sure it's no pun intended? I think the pun
roots.
should be intended.
The pun should be intended,
Roots.
right? Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Kunta Kinte. But like as being slaves on the plantation, we didn't live in the big house. We lived in the fields and whatnot. We got the scraps of food. So that was, the gizzards, the, chicken feet, the chitlins. So different more exotic foods, what we would say today are exotic or different. But for people down south, primarily, um, those are normal, regular foods. And but it's something that we were given to pass down, I think, from generation to generation. It's a part of our Black culture from slavery because we didn't get the creme de la creme of food. We got the leftover parts of it, and we made do with what we were given. And it through the years it became mainstream or something, you know, as a part of the quote unquote Black culture. Putting ham hocks in beans to make them more seasoned or taste better. Put in bacon fat in, green beans, just different stuff like that. And these are just my personal
I
opinions,
agree with all that.
you know. So I
I
think
only
all of
disagree
that
with that's all culture though.
I think all of that is part of the Black culture.
I agree with that part. I think all those things are cultural, right? But I do not think
Yeah.
that any of those things are defining or measurable,
Oh
right?
no, no.
Um, so, and or are really helpful in progressing um, a population forward, a society forward, right? Um, by themselves, because we can like if you look at hip hop, you would say that's Black culture, but
Right.
how many people that listen to hip hop, Black people, are millionaires?
Not a
How
lot.
many how many of the artists are millionaires or billionaires?
Mm-hmm.
How many of the owners are Black or African American, right? And how many, of the owners that are not Black or African American, how much money do they make? How many billionaires and millionaires, right? Like, so if you look at quote unquote our culture being hip hop, the owners of it is somebody else that are
Right.
profiting off of all of our labor because we don't have a cultural acceptance of ownership of all the stuff that Pearl talk about, or DB Chef TV. My
Yeah,
bad.
Pearl. It's Chef Pearl. You know what we doing.
All right. Um, you start talking about the business aspects of music and royalties and all that things and licenses and publishing. all those things we shy away from. Everybody knows the one stereotype. You wanna hide something from a black man, put it in a book,
Put it in the book.
right? That is so untrue.
Yeah, because a lot
That's
of
In
brothers
terrible.
read.
in
Yeah, that's
in
terrible.
reality, it's so untrue, but but it is perpetuated, right? Because the American culture dictates that the black man and woman are on the bottom of the caste in society. You got to always remember that we have to be on the bottom, right? We are slaves. We came from nothing, right? We haven't accomplished
Right,
anything. We took the scraps and called it soul food
right.
and made it delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now they selling chitlins in fancy restaurants in Paris and whatnot, and calling it
Right. And
a
calling it a
delicacy,
delicacy. Right.
right? But they also eat monkey brains, right?
Yeah,
See that face you made,
Both
right?
of
yeah,
them. I don't know where that came from, but
yeah. Culinary art. It's culinary arts.
It's culinary,
Yeah.
it's culinary arts, right? You know,
right.
cultural things does not, that, like, if it doesn't protect the people, if it doesn't propel give a people the opportunity or a chance to move upwards, or to keep up
Mm-hmm.
with to be a part of commerce besides consumers, right? We got to be
Right. To
uh
be bosses.
Let me
more
ask.
and
Let me ask you this. Let me cut you off, God. I don't mean to cut you off,
mm,
but to your point, let me ask you this, and to Jazz's point, does the continual teaching every February of slavery, does it perpetuate that, the lack of the lack of desire to strive for collect cooperative economics, to strive for, um what you said, but I don't want to misquote you, but you was like, to be
y'all be freestyling.
a productive member of
A
society.
member of society.
Yeah, like we just go with that, you know.
Yeah, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say yes and no, right? More no. I think is beneficial, and it should keep going until they cut the check, right? But I absolutely am opposed to to those kind of celebrations. I'm gonna call them, like in like workplaces, or um like even in school,
What do
like
you mean
like
by celebration? What do you mean,
like
Ollie?
at my job, like every month, they not every month, but like they got the Women's Month, they got the Asian Pacific Month, they got the,
Oh, okay. Right, right. The
right,
appreciation. Right.
the
Okay.
appreciation, right? Like, because it's so fake and phony. Like, they say in
Okay.
the
It's like every
words,
day of the year you should be like appreciative and giving thanks and all that. Right.
right, and it's posturing, and it does the exact opposite of what it's supposed to do, or what it says it's supposed to do. It absolutely perpetuates the BS, right? Because they keep bringing up the same old things, right? You got cats walking around blatantly saying, "Man, f Black History Month." Nobody cares about that. Like in the workplace,
That's crazy.
right? So it puts you in a state of like, wow, so that's how y'all really feel, instead of like, you're a jerk, right? You're insensitive, like, um, you see what I'm saying? It's funny, right? It could put you in the slave mind of, now you want to retaliate and get all physical, but you can maintain and be like, yeah, that's just a dummy.
Right.
God, you
Exactly. Not get too heated about the person. Just, go on about your
Correct.
day and be like, okay, they're ignorant for saying that,
Put a
but
God,
paperwork
that's
on it.
God,
their opinion.
you said you had an experience one time. Um, I would necessarily, we don't need to know the place or location, but you said that you had an experience one time during a Black History celebration that, um the people who were were organizing the Black History celebration just assumed that because of everyone's complexion, that they all, had the same, followed the same cultural background. They all came from, represented the same ethnic, cultural celebration type of things. And there were people from different backgrounds
People
of
that
black.
weren't black.
No,
Not,
they were
so
black
that's the thing, is the
according to the
acceptance
definition.
according to the definition.
Right.
But so February, is that Black History Month, or
Yeah.
is that African American History Month?
Oh,
Mm,
right. Oh my gosh. That's
mm.
true.
Is
I
it
don't know. We only been African Americans for about what, 10 years. When did Jesse Jackson do that?
uh well, I actually seen some research where we actually called ourselves that in the newspapers, like way back, and
Okay,
it was actually thrown out, right?
okay,
Ironically, I guess the official legal name, I guess, for us on the books, like the last official thing was called the Freedmen,
okay,
right?
Friedman.
Like if we were to unify around a thing, right? Like a quote unquote name or whatever. I think if you research that, that was like the last official title, but not bestowed, but that was like the last official thing that was given to us, right? Or that we had. Like the African American, the Black, the Negro, like all those was like things that. So what do y'all want to be called? What's going to make y'all feel better?
Right.
But as far as status, right, to have us as a player and not as just pieces, right? Freeman is that status. But
okay.
that might be a different conversation.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's relative. Where we at right now with understanding the black dynamic in relativity to culture, as
Mhm.
everyone else, as the masses around us subscribe to it.
Rock
Be-
say ban it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Could you
ban Black
repeat
History Month.
the question about the Black History Month, please,
Um,
DB Chef? What that was, the
the
prompt
question
about
about the
that?
Black History Month. Oh, the question I had about Black History Month was
Yeah.
the teaching every Black History Month of slavery, is that beneficial, to the youth, just to Black people in general? Like, the
Mm,
majority of people that have been taught this story haven't encountered that type of uh that exact type of uh I guess what we call it, slavery.
right.
you know yeah. So,
Yeah.
the
I feel
majority of
like.
people that are being taught it have not experienced that
Mhm.
level of slavery.
Oh, okay.
you know
Or racism.
nah, I'm not gonna
Eh,
say I'm not gonna say no. No, if a
No, you're not
person
gonna say racism.
no, because if I
nah,
walk down the street and somebody clenched their purse, that's racist. Regardless,
Oh, okay. Yeah, true.
I have money in
Yeah.
my pocket, and I'm a productive member of society. I don't want to take nothing from nobody. So,
especially
what
if
I'm
we're in the
saying?
workplace.
Yeah, like, so like that's racist. But I understand,
Yeah.
it don't wipe off.
It kind of don't.
you know,
Doesn't wipe off.
yeah. So,
Wow.
um, so
Yeah,
yeah.
but I
So
would
do you
say,
think that it does or doesn't? How do you think that affects?
um, I feel like that it definitely still needs to be taught. And I understand that people have different views on slavery and even Black History Month, but it still needs to be taught because I feel like, and you know, as soon as we stop teaching our history and our past and what we've been through as a culture, as a people, then it'll be destroyed. We'll forget about it. It'll be like, we came all this way for what? Like, I mean, it's not like it can completely be erased by anything or anyone, but I know what you mean by, like, if it wasn't celebrated, or if it wasn't talked about, Black History Month or slavery or anything, but which those two go hand in hand when you're talking about Black History Month. Usually you do lessons on, Rosa Parks. That's usually like the general people, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. And but I also feel like they should go a little bit deeper, talk about Huey P. Newton or Marcus Garvey or, Frederick Douglass, some other people like that, Harriet Tubman even, um, to really delve into the quote unquote Black culture and what it means to be Black, and what we've, how we've gotten to where we are today as Black people, even, going from slavery, Jim Crow, everything, to where we are now. I think it's definitely imperative that Black History Month is taught. The celebration of it, I don't think it's as so much a celebration, than more like recognizing Black culture, but I feel like that's recognized every day. But I know when people think of Black History Month, quote unquote, they think about, the history of it. And, you know, some might say what Rosa Parks did, someone else did, but they just weren't recognized. A different Black person, or, whatever, was recognized or did the same thing, but they weren't recognized like her. We don't know that. We weren't there in history. But I still feel like kids today need to know that all of their rights, if not some of their rights, if not all of their rights, are because of a Black person that took a stand and did something for us to be where we are today. That's just how I feel about it, because I don't see, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I don't see people, and I can't imagine parents sitting their kids down and having their own private Black history lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can.
I feel like
I do.
it's the
I,
you do. Okay, okay,
I can.
okay. I
no,
mean,
It,
so
we all different. We would.
maybe not
I
enough.
mean,
I get what you're saying. Maybe not enough.
yeah,
yeah. I'm
Maybe
not
not
saying
enough.
it doesn't happen, but I
Right.
still feel like it should be in schools too, as well as people that do teach their children where they came from in their own history and their own culture. Just so they could be like, you know what, Black people invented the stoplight. Black people invented, all these different things, all these different technologies we have today, and because of Black people, whatever you deem to be seen as Black, that's,
you know,
that I think that
sis.
needs to be recognized. Why are you laughing? What you laughing about?
I, I'm laughing because I'm naturally rebellious, right? Um,
Oh Lord.
so I'm following you, and I like what you're saying, but I would
Mm.
only want them to tell the rest of the
Boo.
story, right?
What do you mean?
Finish the rest of the sentence, right? Black people invented X, Y, and Z, and didn't get any credit, didn't benefit financially from it at all. No monies went to their families. Um, like I would like the whole story to be told. Like let's talk about all the towns that are flooded and why they got flooded. Right. Talk about all the history. Right. Like the Rosa Parks stories. Those are cool.
Right.
Martin Luther
That
King.
everyone knows that one. We know
Those are
that one.
cool.
That's
But the way that
classic.
the story's being told now is like Chef is talking about. Right. It or not, he's not talking about it, he's alluding to it, I think, because because I know
That they only telling half the story.
they only telling half of it,
Where they're picking and choosing the
and it's
things
and
that,
it's negative,
you know.
right? Because like
Right.
take
And like
take
I said, some of the people I was talking about, they aren't going to talk about Black Panthers or, you know, they're not going to talk about militant people. They're not going to talk about Malcolm X as much as they're going to talk about Martin in a school. That's just how it is. You teaching
Okay,
kids
so
from that
so
perspective.
right. So because that's how it is, all right, then what if just in an imaginary world, all right? Right? What if in imaginary world, I want to get y'all's perspective on this. What if we took out Rosa Parks
Mm-hmm.
and we replaced her with Oprah?
I like it.
And then we took out, we leave Madam CJ Walker,
Like it.
we leave because she got her, they told, it's told during
Yeah,
Black
she
History
has a
Month,
whole Netflix special.
she got her
Yeah.
whole success thing. She
Oh
endured
yeah.
the struggle, and then she got,
I
her
like it.
just dues.
I like it.
So
First Black
Somebody who
woman
didn't lose their
millionaire.
patent.
right, like she
Yeah.
actually was successful, she had a struggle. And I'm just thinking like, what if we just replace certain people who just got beat and was just, just that their stories don't inspire, like, they stories inspire perseverance,
Right.
but
More like
it's
success stories almost.
dag, I hope I don't have to go through that, you know.
Right. Almost
Um,
like cautionary.
but all of
I
them
mean, not
aren't.
cautionary, but
It is,
Yeah, it all perpetuates fear.
yeah. But then you
right.
have the positive stories, the George Washington Carver, we want to leave him in there,
Right.
you know, all of those people like that did
Benjamin
things.
Banneker's. Yeah.
Benjamin, yeah, all these people that did things that were, and even some of our newer, our,
Right. The newer
our
people. That's what
newer
I want so
successes,
bad.
the
Yeah,
Bob
Yeah.
I want so
Johnsons,
bad.
the,
Yeah.
what's the brother name? Ben Carson, who did the brain surgery,
Oh yeah,
Oh
right.
yeah. Yeah,
like,
Ben Carson.
Neil,
All
Neil
yeah,
Tyson, Neil deGrasse Tyson, like, why are we not teaching about them? Because they getting their
Right.
flowers.
correct.
Yeah, and they're
They on
And we could
TV.
alive
replace some of them people
right
who
now.
just, I'm sorry, they just got whooped, and that was it. Like, it was just, it's just a, like, BK
Yo, you
so
know what's
like, it's
crazy?
just fear, you know what I'm saying? Like, it
No,
is,
I know what you're saying.
it
Like
really
people
is.
that
It's just,
more
it's
It's
just
fear
like,
modern,
based.
like
it's,
modern Black history heroes
why
almost.
not Modern Black
Yeah.
History, month, like, change it. We
Yeah,
took out a few
make it more
people that,
positive.
we changed a few things, rearranged it. We put Michael Jordan in there. We put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got story. They struggle. Like, like, why not? If we could
Right,
take
right.
if we could
All
take
the
nigga and make it a
Basketball
term
is a
of
basketball.
big part of
endearment,
our
then what's the problem? Why
Word.
right.
we
And
can't trade out
basketball is
some
a big
people
part of
in
our culture too.
to improve the mental health of Black culture, if it even
Right.
exists?
Nah, yeah, that's why we talk about just do what we talk about doing, Eric. Because if we let them tell it, it's gonna be fear based, right? It's gonna be to control and manipulate, which you know,
We got this. If you allow the
like
conqueror to tell the story, they would tell it to preserve the structure. It won't provoke a movement. It's entertainment, same as February.
yeah,
Okay, so the one thing I'm gonna say is this about that. I agree with everything with that, with that comment, except for the conqueror. All right,
yeah,
because right now where we at, we passed the conqueror. Now we in survival mode. Like, it's a deeper level of understanding of where I'm going with it, where what I'm talking about, but we're not going to talk about that on this show. It goes with what you were saying about, that's the topic for another show, that
mm-hmm,
you know um your status. So, like, we already conquered. What we got to do is we got to get some strategy so we can stop defeating ourselves. And that's
Right.
what,
Exactly. Go a step further for the
that's where I
next
think we
generation. Kind of.
we at, because the babies just keep seeing the same things
And
over and over again.
that's why freedmen is important, right? Because freedmen indicates that we are no longer conquered, right? We are free, right? We can persevere, we can get past surviving and start thriving, right? We can put together a plan and execute, right? But if somebody else dictate, if somebody else is manipulating, if somebody else is setting the standard for what's right and what's real and what's allowed, then it don't matter. It's all going to be the same.
Right. And that's if the collective, if there was a collective
If there
that
was.
that could participate in some type of industrial action, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but looking at where we are now as a quote unquote black culture, right? It's just everybody for themselves. It's just I don't want to help you, I just want to watch you and hate, or
That's
compete,
the American way, though.
you know, but it's not the way of that community that everybody say got money.
They also got
Oh
their own
yeah, sure
country.
isn't.
It's not that way. So if I could
Not they
watch, if I
check
could
real
watch
yo
a
real talk,
video
real
and do
talk.
a dance, right? Like if I could learn how to do a dance that somebody doing, right?
Hmm.
TikTok.
Okay. Yeah, if I can learn that whole thing, if a
Yeah.
new song can come out and I can learn that, right? If I can get up and go to work and I can save my money because I want to go buy these new Gucci slides or
Hmm.
this whatever, or this Louis that or anything designer. I ain't picking on them. You know what I'm saying? Anything designer that is where I could take that money and invest it in something beneficial. I could take
Right.
$100 of it, all right, for a $1,200 item. I don't know where it come from. A $1,200 article of clothing.
Hmm.
Okay. I ain't spend $100 with somebody. I ain't even go buy nothing from dudes selling oils or you know what I'm saying? Nothing. That's just I could have spent at least $100 with somebody who looked like me. And we don't even get that, you know. Even in certain communities, you do have, but it's only them people. It's not everybody making a purposeful effort to say, you know what? I admire that community. You know what I'm saying? We need to do that. So, at least on a basic level, all right, somebody told me everybody can't have a house, everybody can't have the same thing. Everybody, yes, you can. Everybody can't have the same things. And what I'm talking about is it don't have to be the exact same thing. Everybody don't have to have a Mercedes. Everybody don't have to have a Range Rover, but everybody can have a car. Everybody can have a car
Right.
paid for. Everybody can
Yep.
have
Mm-hmm.
everybody can have a place to live. Everybody can have a home. You
Food,
know,
clothing, shelter, and the protection of that.
you know,
Everybody can have that.
everybody can have that. So it's not for it's what people are picking and choosing to put on the list what they're comparing, and that's their own individual perspective of
Yep.
what they think everybody can have and can't have. You know,
And once you say things like individual or my perspective, you are not talking about culture,
there you
right?
go.
Because that is the enemy of culture, right? Because culture is the collective. Culture is what's going to benefit us all. Culture is what's going to protect us all. What's going to propel us all, right? So if culture, I mean, I guess it could, if you choose. I guess you could let it, be a demise. I guess you could choose to just go with the wind. I guess that's a choice, right?
Well,
If that was the choice.
let's
If that was the
examine
choice.
culture. Let's examine culture if that's the choice, right? Let's examine culture, family. So we're gonna look at culture right quick. The arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Okay. I'm just like, do we even need to go past that? Yeah, let's go to the verb. All right. Because the verb is severely important. All right. Maintain in conditions suitable for growth. So let's do the noun and then put some action to it. The arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively, maintaining in conditions suitable for growth.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything that we tied into, they also have another they say it's a concept that encompasses the social behavior and norms found in human societies. Okay. As well as the knowledge, beliefs, arts, laws, customs, capabilities, and habits of individuals in these groups. Okay.
That's
Now,
just a long sentence versus the
Yeah,
noun and
that's a
verb put
lot.
together.
That's wording.
right,
That's just the noun and verb put together.
put together, right? And that's what we did with the first two. So, where are black people in this habits of individuals in these groups? Where are they encompassing that social behavior? Now, I will say, a lot of black people go to church,
Yeah, that's
okay?
what I said earlier. Yep.
But it seems like the only black business being supported is the church.
Is the church.
That's it.
Nobody else in the church are millionaires.
Nobody.
Nobody. No. You got people in the church that don't even have cars.
Mm-hmm.
You got people in the church that are struggling to pay their bills, right? That go to mega churches that got helicopters and stuff, right?
And shout out to them. But
Nah, that's dope.
you know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. But we keeping it real over here. Like
Right?
the
Like
rest of the congregation does
that's what I'm
not
saying.
get
Right.
to enjoy
That's what I'm
those
saying. It's
rewards.
it's cultural.
Struggling.
It's cultural. It's something that we do, but we don't take that thing and use it to our advantage, right? Like if we looked at our history, we would remember that we use church to organize, right? We use church to strategize and to dictate our future, right? Right. That's why they bombed stuff. That's why they flooded stuff. That's why they lynched and burned and because they had to stop, right? They were afraid of the potential progress. But it has been
Right.
proven, right? Like our history is vast. It's not even in those negative stories, um, they're for the most part they're negative because of how they tell it. There are a lot of positives in them, right? They're not negative because the people messed up, right? They negative because the people were victims. To me, that's different. How you feel about that?
You said they were negative
Um,
because the people are victims.
Like, yeah, right. Like a Black Wall Street,
Okay.
successful,
mm-hmm.
right? Success story.
Mm-hmm.
However,
Yeah.
uh, every time you bring it up and you talk about doing something else, everybody say, "Ah, man, they just gonna come and take it." Like Black Wall Street, they're gonna come and bomb it, like Black Wall Street,
Mm.
right? It puts
Well, I would
fear.
just say,
It puts fear in people automatically and make them not want to work together
Try.
and try,
Yeah.
automatically thinking somebody's gonna come and stop them or take it away from them,
mm-hmm,
right? And today,
definitely.
we're getting more into entrepreneurial stuff, but traditionally up until now, um, Black Wall Street has not been something that we hold on to, and we teach financial literacy, because that's the important part of Black Wall Street, like the ability to grow, maintain, right? Maintain and grow.
Exactly, because you have to maintain your wealth if you want it to grow. It has to come from somewhere first, and then you have to have the power and the knowledge to keep it growing and flourishing within your community for it to become what you want it to be.
where are the communities? Like what does the Black community look like today?
Hey,
What is
Chef,
that?
put that comment up on the board, because that feeds into your question right there.
This one right here?
Yeah.
This one?
Yep.
What does that say?
That
I can't read that. What she
It
said?
says Rocky says what would each of you say would be the very first step into us as Black people to building a beneficial and healthy culture?
and the question you just asked is, where are the communities?
Where are the communities?
Communities.
Right? Like,
Okay, so firstly, I would say the first step to us building a beneficial and healthy culture, it goes beyond just, I mean, that's a lot. It's okay, you go because I'm still thinking.
All right, I'm gonna go
That's a
real
lot.
quick. We have
Okay.
to agree on one thing.
100%.
We
Need the
just have
community.
to agree
Yes.
on one thing.
We
What's
need,
that?
As a collective, as a whole Black people, we got to agree on one thing. We don't pray together. It's
nope.
now I'm gonna
Oh,
go, now I'm gonna turn up, right? It's if you go outside right
I
now,
get it.
all right.
Yep.
Now before I say this, let me say this. Um, so people don't take this the wrong way. Whatever your religion is and whatever you believe in, I believe that everybody should have this life experience the way they desire to.
Word.
Okay. All so we don't knock
Mm.
any religious belief, religious affiliations, religious origins, practices, none of that stuff. Okay. Because I personally take something from everybody. Because
Word.
everybody got some good, just like all human beings. Some people got some bad stuff, people got some good stuff. But like DB Chef, like and the words of DB Chef, some stuff you leave on the plate. Okay. Everything, you don't need to eat everything.
Word.
Okay. Um, but if you leave your house now, okay, uh, if if a person was to leave their house now, you could probably just drive in your community, maybe 10 square miles, just do a 10 piece, and count how many churches it is that say in Jesus' name we pray, and look up the population in that community and see how many Black people going to them churches, the Black churches. Okay, because that's what we talking about, Black folk. And ain't nobody even praying together.
Nope.
But we praying to the same God.
Yep. Ish.
So I definitely, I'm hopeful. But what's in front of me, has me uh, aware that, like, if we can't do something simple as pray together, then and that is, that's the most peaceful time. And that's why I say, like, I can go to a mosque, a synagogue, anywhere, and pray.
Word.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I know it's something bigger than all of it, because it's stuff we can't explain. Okay. Period. So that allows me to say, to not get caught up in any one particular way, and also be able to see that, like, when I'm put into a box, when I'm put into or classified as something, all right, then I still receive, we all do, we still receive the negative and the positive of the stereotype or of the cultural identity. So, I have to like hip hop. Like, I have to like hip hop, right?
Because you're black,
I I have
right?
to play basketball.
You said it, because I'm black, right? I
Right.
have
I
to
have
like
to be
hip
a
hop.
good
Like, how you don't
dancer
like hip hop?
or have
You
I
know,
have to
rhythm.
be able to run fast.
I mean, not if you fat, you know what I'm saying? Right? So, so it's always an exception, but there are some things that's general, like you going, you like certain foods and all these different things, and there's a possibility you could do this and do that, and it's negatives, it's positives, it's all this stuff, but the thing is that when we talk about supporting each other, what I see is a lack of that going on, particularly within our community, because we don't, if there is a community, okay, the alleged black community, because I'm still trying to find it, you know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
no community, right? Like,
Because that is a community if we supporting each other.
correct.
So that's why I'm saying, like, there is no black community, because it's no support for each other. It's no support for people who favor you, look like you
In
know,
fact, there's mostly skepticism
from the
for
same group.
for people, right? If when you go to do business, you get skepticism first instead of support.
Absolutely.
You
Or
get critiqued,
jealousy.
you get jealousy, you get compared to something better, and yeah, it's tough, right? But like you say, right, like we don't agree on one thing, right? And because we don't all, at least because we, it's so many, or you said so many people in the church, right? And they all don't even pray together,
And
right?
within a
Even
radius.
even
Yeah.
even even at the same time, like even if they all before they started their own separate churches, if they all just had one big group prayer or some shit like that, I don't know.
Well,
Um,
actually, I mean, I
so
understand what you
Well,
guys are
well,
kind of
now
saying.
people don't like the way this pastor do this, and they church,
yeah,
and people don't like the way that pastor do that, and they church, and they like, well, they do this over here, and they do that over there, and it's like,
In our
wow.
church, we have w- I'm Catholic, so we have our church, and then we have another church. We do things actually with our two sister churches, and they're both black churches, black Catholic churches. We have different events with both of our other sister churches, and you know, prayer groups between the three churches, and we try to, um, camaraderie. I mean, commune with them as well. Maybe it's because we're Catholic, or I mean, I don't know. I want to put down any other religion at all, but that's just how my church does it. We, um,
and
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 our
and some churches
pastors,
link up with each
yeah.
other, like
Right, right.
yeah, I'm not saying that. Yeah, okay, so let's clear that. That's dope that y'all
That's
church do that, right?
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
But
it's
my
cool,
but my statement, my statement, just clearing it, right, does
hmm
not mean that churches don't interact and do events and stuff like that with other churches in the community, right?
hmm
But it isn't everybody, okay?
right.
It's
It's not as
selective,
common
right?
as it should
Because
be.
even
Yeah.
your church don't deal with, well, it's a black Catholic church, so if it's predominantly
Right.
black, predominantly Catholic, like, That's rare. I didn't even know that existed.
Me either.
Like,
I just learned
being
that just now.
honest, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? My God, take me to church.
Yeah.
It's like I ain't know.
It's
I
You
never
saw I
been
got
there.
3 of
quiet,
them.
right?
For real, because I went to Catholic school, but I didn't know that it was a black Catholic church. Like that's wow. The
Yeah.
black uh bishop and everything, black pastor and all that stuff. So like that's
Black
dope.
pastor.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
So but the problem I'm identifying is that it's so many different, it's so many selections. Like the church is like, you go into the shoe shop, you go to get a pair of kicks. You have
Yes,
a-
so many choices.
and that's what I'm saying. When it's all of them, like you go in there, yeah, it's different flavors. I get it, you know,
Yeah.
but they all shoes, they all fit your feet, if they
Hmm.
have your size. And on a cumulative level, community wise, right? That's divisive.
Very much so.
You know, my mother shared with me that in the town where she from, Little Town, North Carolina, um, they used to walk to church, okay? And
Yeah.
everybody from that community used to come to that church, okay? So you knew at that church who was good in grades, who was doing good in school, who was good at math, who was good at this, who's a painter, who got this, who got that, who got chickens, who got vegetables, who got, what I'm saying, who work on cars, who all of these resources right there
It was a community.
that the whole community can access and they can
Right.
share and build with each other, you know? Everybody, the whole family wins, right? But now when you replace that with 50 churches in a 10-mile radius, right? Now you have to go to the yellow pages. Like they don't even exist no more in the federal age. But you
Mm-mm.
gotta Google it. Now
Google.
now you gotta look up, and figure out, who you gonna call for what. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
and that's not saying that some churches don't have that same, that in their structure, they don't have those same resources, but the whole community doesn't get it.
Yeah, but I think
Right.
like again, when you start saying words like some churches, some implies that it's not cultural, right? It's not something that is collective.
Correct.
Is individual is a might be a group of individuals, right? But
Correct.
it's not a collective cohesive thought, right? It's not like so for me 50
Manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Correct.
when you say 50 churches in a 10-mile radius,
Hmm.
to me that community, right? That 10 miles would be super solid, or should be super solid. They should have so many businesses. Their crime rate should be so low. There should be so many um, scholars and positive members of society coming out of those 10 miles, right? Because that's 50 churches. That's
That's crazy.
right. That because if you look at them as a bunch of little small groups where they're not necessarily individuals, but they're chapters of the grand body, so to speak. Uh, and there's a collective goal and collective movement amongst those 50 churches, and they're not 50 different churches and 50 different thought processes, but
Which,
um,
but aren't they? Because you got the Lutheran, you got the AME
that's what I'm
Zion,
saying. They
you got
all
the
are
First
right.
Baptist, you got the
Yeah,
Second Baptist, you got the
all
uh,
different.
Episcopal, you got the this, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got so
AME,
All
many,
that.
yeah,
Catholics.
But
right?
Don't forget
well,
us.
well, I don't put them in that group of Christianity.
No, but I'm talking about as far as black people though, right? I'm not separating, but
No, but no, check it out. This what I'm saying is like the in Jesus' name we pray
got
group.
you, got
You
you,
know, that is,
got
like
you.
so many, like you just pick, okay, I'm going to church today. Let me figure out which one I'm going. Am I going to First Christ? Am I going to Christ United? Am I going to Christ United Lutheran? Am I going to First Baptist? Am I going to, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
everybody's saying in Jesus'
Don't-
name we
Oh
pray,
my God.
you know? And it's just like that's so many, like and I'm separating uh Catholicism
I got you.
from that because they the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit like that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and to the Virgin Mary and all that, it's a little bit more, you know, than just in Jesus' name we pray going on.
Yeah, they actually do magic.
It's a little bit more than that. But that's where we see the bulk of the divisiveness.
Correct.
That's where we see like it's just so
Right.
many
And
different,
that's a whole nother conversation too.
you know. But
Yep.
it's but I'm seeing it as I'm comparing it to like there isn't a collective. We don't even have a collective in spirituality, quote unquote, and
Right.
religion,
Yo, God, imagine with those 50 churches, it was those 50 churches that owned all the liquor stores in the community. So now that you got black owned liquor stores instead of going to somebody outside your race to get your spirits.
I mean, it would be dope. I don't care if we owned anything, no matter what stores it is. The reason why is
Mm-hmm.
because eventually we have to work our way up to be, you know, a warehouser,
Yeah,
a supplier. So these are the things that I'm saying, like, damn, like we need that. We need a supplier. We need,
laundromats.
like we can have this stuff on the ground level at the retail level. We can have stuff at the retail level, but the manufacturing level, the supply level, we not in it. We not in none of that.
And we
Right.
not ready for it.
That's a whole different level.
Yep.
You know,
We not
like
there and we not ready.
we not in none of that. And those are things where I'm just like, it's stuff that we do that, what I'm saying, you don't have to step on nobody's toes, but it's always gonna be competitive. We in America, like it's all competition, you know. But I'm just like,
But
we
that's
don't do,
anti-community.
but that's anti-community, right?
that's,
Now,
that's
but if we did it, if the black, if there was the black culture or black community did it, then of course you're going to compete, right? But the culture is competing. The
the
collective
competition is
is,
dangerous, bro. That's a dangerous word, man. Think like
other
we like
people want to get in business. Like, I don't think competition is dangerous. You know why? Because they got Coke, they got Pepsi, they got
Yeah.
RC Cola.
Exactly.
I mean, you go to Walmart and get a
Adidas,
cola.
Adidas
They
and
got
Nike,
Adidas, they got Nike, they got, Converse.
Reebok.
I mean, I can buy a whole outfit in BK Soul Farm. You can get a whole outfit in DB Chef TV. The difference
that's
is
true.
we working together though. We
Mm-hmm.
not competing.
That's what I'm saying,
If
right?
you make a sale, I'm happy for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I want to
Mm-hmm.
see my people win.
That's
You
what I'm
know,
saying. We not competing, right? Like if we can't compete against each other, right? Like we can compete in business, but we should be happy. They shouldn't compete against each other, right? That's where it gets tricky,
and that's what's going on.
right? Because right now, if I want to put my joint higher than your joint, so it's seen first, right? It's not fair that you know what I'm saying. Like it's competition, and it gets the backbiting and jealousy and it's all negative things that separate. Is more divisive things, right? Because we don't agree on why we doing it, right? We don't have a collective goal for why we are even getting into business.
At all.
Mm-mm.
Because we can't even pray together.
Can't even pray together.
Well, on that note, I will pray for you guys. No, I'm gonna pray for everybody. No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Appreciate you,
get
sis.
going here.
Yeah.
Um, but this is a great show. I'm glad we delve into our Black culture and what that means to us. And I'm excited for the next show. You guys have a great evening. And everybody follow me. I am Jazz Garcelle on all social media platforms. Thank you. Bye bye, guys.
Thank you, Jazz.
Peace,
Have a good
sis.
night. Peace.
Yeah, that's dope.
Definitely.
Nah,
So
bro, like it's acceptance, right, man? We gotta. It comes down to we don't agree on one thing, any one thing.
any one thing.
It's not that thing. Is any one thing.
It's any one thing, right? Because we haven't even got together to be even define the one thing that could be agreeable.
Oh, we haven't even defined a one thing that we could possibly agree on.
Right, that part. In conditions suitable for growth.
Correct.
To maintain in conditions suitable for growth. Right. So with that said, I would say that if we say if we can assume that there isn't one thing that black people as a whole, everybody who call themselves black, okay, whether they check in a box, whether they identify as it, whatever, you know what I'm saying, uh, have not agreed on one thing that would allow us to maintain conditions suitable for growth as a collective, manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively, then black culture don't exist.
No, that's what we were saying, right? Like we do we do cultural things. That's what I say.
Black
That's
culture
what,
don't exist. What are they
that's what
talking about?
I have
what
no idea.
are
Yo,
they talking about? Black culture, what? Black culture don't exist.
it's the fear of saying that. It's the fear of thinking that because black culture don't exist, the idea that it can't exist, right? That it can't manifest, right? Because we just gotta agree on one thing,
One thing, right?
right? Like, I mean, hell, we can agree that there's no black culture, right?
I'm convinced.
You know what I'm saying?
based on based on the definitions of
And,
culture.
and if there is no black culture, like check it out. If we agree that on that one thing that there is no black culture, based on that understanding, the only next step is to create a culture.
so so where he said he said where and who holds the conference for figuring it out? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
That's, yeah, right.
I don't
Because
know.
who do you trust, right? Like,
I don't know, bro.
do you trust Kanye and all his acres of land? Like who got millions of acres of land somewhere that we can all go to, and that you gonna drink the Kool Aid? I'll be scared. Like,
Oh no, I want to do it virtually.
exactly.
I don't want to go in person, man. That might be you might be walking into
That's
something.
a setup, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
no. I ain't even
You
putting
did,
that on Kanye, and he may not know. He might get cooked with everybody else too. So I don't know.
nah, but yeah, but that's it's that's the thing, man. Like, just one thing, bro.
Just one thing, right?
And that's why I say teams win. winning by myself or winning by oneself is not the move, right? Like, so what? You got a good job, or I got a good job. When I transition, does that job transfer to my descendants, to my lineage?
The job, right?
The job, does that money that I've earned, does anything transfer, right? Because that position is still there. That position is still generating, um, but not for my benefit of my family
Right.
anymore, right? Uh, like, what's up with that, right? Like,
Well, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that next show. We're gonna
hell
talk.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that next show. You know it's some. I ain't gonna tell y'all the title. We coming up with it though. It's gonna be. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that next show though. We're gonna peel back some layers on some, generational wealth and things that we could do to be able to promote that and propagate that. Um, but definitely tonight's show, uh, can ethnic groups that don't support each other qualify as a culture or community? And the title is "What is Black Culture?" I don't know. After this conversation this evening,
Yo, you can't leave it like that,
we
fam.
can't leave it like that. You know
Nah,
what I'm saying?
cause
I don't
nah,
know.
bro. Nah, man. Like, you know,
Look, we gave some solutions. We didn't just harp on the problem like some people do. Some people harp on the problem
that's
and
true.
just,
That's true.
and
That's
talk
true.
about how bad it is and blah, 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 but never offer suggestions to what we can do. You know, they are offer suggestions of what somebody else
That's
needs to do for us.
that's official tissue, cause the real talk, we are really just saying that we just gotta agree on at least one thing,
That's it.
right? Cause once, like, whatever that thing is, like, once you accept and understand that position of that thing, you can make a choice for the next thing, right? Like, you have a foundation, you have something to stand on. Um, and that's what we don't have, right? Like, we don't have a foundation in reality. We take the cultural things, all the things that are in the air, that we can pick from and enjoy and remember and embrace and give good vibrations from, individually, and sometimes in the small collectives, right? But we don't galvanize those things and put them into motion to where they actually are, a part of the machine of our growth and our path, right? Like we just, if we like fried chicken, then we should have a poultry farm. You should be shopping at BK Soul Farm, right? Um,
Absolutely.
you should support your local farmers. If you like fly gear, right, you should be, hollering at the person that sell fly clothes. You should holler at, DB Chef TV, right? You should be at I Am Jazz, Garcelle, right? Like, you should go where, support your interests.
Support your interests.
Like, that's what you got to do, right? You just got to support your interests. And
So what to the person that says, "Well, I'm not interested," right? You see what I'm saying? Because we already know what happens with them. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But like
right.
that's what we dealing with though. We dealing with a lot of that. That individual. You know, uh, where individualism is so overwhelming or uh I don't want to make it bad, because individualism isn't bad in some cases, but I want to use it negatively because it's not allowing, it's preventing a collective.
Yo,
And
it's
when
listen.
individualism prevents a collective, then there's a level of selfishness and a lack of ability to work together. So we're gonna need some more community efforts.
More community efforts. Those 50 churches got to be working together in that 10. I'm telling you, those 50 churches, those 10 miles should be the best 10 miles. Instead of that one strip of that neighborhood that organize and set up their own security and have their own grocery stores and got their own commerce, and the city is supporting their efforts outrightly, right? Need to get in that position, and we gotta. It's beyond taking our time, right? We just gotta have complete thoughts, right, and be honest with the reality of the situation and what it is that we want to do, and the best ways to do it,
Right.
right? Like that's why I put in the book, right? That 1016 160 self-sustainability, copy at bksoulfarm.com, right? Like I wrote that to teach people how to feed themselves, right? It doesn't matter if you live in an apartment, if you live in on 100 acres, right? It doesn't matter. There's a scalable model for you to grow your own food and take care of yourself and your family. Every human being has the responsibility or the need and desire for food, clothing, shelter, right? And everybody got to have the protection of that, right? Because if somebody else can take any of that stuff from you, then you perish, right? So it's meaningless if you can't hold on to it, right? Because it ain't yours no more.
Right.
So one thing at a time, right? Food. I show you how to do it, right? I take away all the, like I put it in there, like you really just got to say, I don't want to learn how to feed myself. I don't want to know how to take care of myself. I don't want to do the work of sustaining and maintaining my growth. Like you really just got to say that. And once you say that, then that's cool, right? You got to accept it, right? But all the fake and the funk, right? And all we got to do is just do this and then everything will work out, right? All we got to do is leave America and then everything will work out. All we got to do, all we got to do is
Leave. Leave
like
where?
all like
Stop it. Have you been those places? Go over there and don't stay at a resort.
and
Anywhere.
don't anywhere,
Anywhere and don't stay at a resort.
anywhere. I've been to a lot of places, right? And don't stay in a resort is different,
Yeah, don't stay in a resort. Stay at the hotel downtown or something.
right? You know, and you know, we try to take too big of a bite, bro. We try to do too much stuff too fast, right? Trying to go too far, right? And we gotta get in our lane. We gotta, again, if those 50 churches organized, that'd be the dopest 10 miles, right? Because if they have folks focused on financial literacy, and the bank, and you have folks focusing on food and culinary and stuff like that. You have folks focusing on, hospitals and all that social science stuff, and
Right.
talking community, right? You're talking community efforts, right? Instead of a park, instead of another rec room, right? That does not teach or promote um, generating anything other than burning energy.
PE. Talking about
which is
talking
which is
about gym
cool,
class.
but that's just only because they say everybody got ADD or ADHD or whatever,
Mm,
right? Right. So that's, that might not be true. That's just my thought process on it.
okay.
They keep
Because of
giving us
gym
parks.
class.
They keep putting up new parks in neighborhoods and stuff, right? Give the kids some place to play. I like it. I like seeing the kids play outside, but I would also like to see something that put them to work too,
That
right?
yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
how about bring back the VOTEC in the schools?
Like I would like to see something to put them to work. I would like to see
Yeah,
something that was readily available right there, that promoted the maintaining of and their growth, the maintenance and their growth, right?
absolutely.
PE does that, keeps you healthy. I'm not knocking exercising.
Yeah, we need to encourage people to exercise, but it might do better if it wasn't a whole, you know, like hour and a half or something like that. It might be better incorporated throughout the workday. Like they have the desks that stand up and down. So
Hmm.
like when we talk about ADD and these things, like, you know, maybe take a 5 minute break and stand up and everybody stretch and and do some stuff right there at your desk, with the teacher. Teacher can do a little exercise or stretches or whatever, stuff to get your blood flowing to keep you, you know, it's ways to incorporate a lot of stuff. But,
Correct.
when we just teaching the test, just pass the test.
Just pass the test, right?
Uh,
It's get good grades and get a job and move out,
yeah,
right? And that's the result of teaching the test. That is American culture. That is not a black culture, right? So we already decided, or not decided, figured out that we don't have based on the definition.
yeah, black coaches don't exist. But you said I couldn't leave, I couldn't close the show like that. I was ready to go with it. Like black culture don't even exist. They like, man, somebody gonna be offended, but
It's somebody over here.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's other people on the internet saying a whole bunch of other wild stuff, but we going off the definition, and I would
Correct.
and I would like to think that we putting a little bit more research into, and a little bit more common sense logic,
Yeah.
um, examining things that are around us, that if somebody sits still, they can go do the same thing. Walk out your house and count the churches. Drive.
Yeah.
Drive 10 miles and just count the churches, you know? And this is not against the churches. It's
Nope.
just examining how many people in that community, from that community, don't even just pray together.
Yeah.
Like something simple is just praying together. We don't even do that. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, uh, how do we achieve something collectively when something that requires no money and we don't even do that. Oh man. Oh, this so
Yeah,
alive.
yo,
This so
man.
alive stuff. you
Hey,
know,
man.
but I mean, I challenge a person to go if they got time. Like if you don't have time, just what I'm saying. Trust me, I haven't done it literally, but I have done it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't purposely left the house to go drive 10 miles just to count churches, but in driving, paying attention, I
Can I put
really
you up on something?
go
If
ahead,
you
yeah.
just go to Google, your map,
Go
and
okay.
type
Yeah.
in churches, and pan out 10 miles, it actually do the math for you.
There you go. There you go. So people, you don't even have to leave the house. Just look it
You
up.
ain't got to leave the house, son.
You don't even have to leave the house. Okay.
Google Maps.
Google Map it. You know, we are not sponsored by Google. They did not pay for
Oh
that.
yeah, I mean any
But
map, every
any
map.
map, you know. But we say, yeah, go ahead, use them, man. Everybody got Google on their phone, so it's cool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, do that and just see, and that'll give you be like, wow, never even thought about it. You know, never even thought about that. We don't even pray together.
You know,
Yeah.
and when you do that, all you also imagine each one of those churches being full to capacity, right? Imagine that those churches exist because a lot of people go to those churches. So the thought process is 50 churches that a lot of people go to. So you got a lot of people in the community within those 10 miles that are praying separately.
Separately, right? So we can only imagine all the other stuff that they are doing separately,
Separately.
which is counterproductive to a culture and definitely not exemplary of anything of any type of collective.
But it does promote current American culture though, right? It promotes the standard culture because it keeps the status quo being the status quo. It keeps the rich rich and the poor poor, which I'm not anti nothing, right? This conversation, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Like I'm accepting that the culture that we do have is this American culture. I'm accepting that is the culture, and that culture dictates that we supposed to be on the bottom, right? You got folks that get in positions, right, and they say, "Man, we ain't supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be in a place like this. I'm supposed to be on a block. I'm not supposed to work at a place like this. I'm not supposed to be on this stage. I'm supposed to be having 5 kids and all these different baby mamas, and like we have all these negative thoughts instead of, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, you're on stage. Good job, right? Right? Like it's
That's how they gonna that's how they gonna feed their family.
that's how they're
And
gonna feed their family,
yeah, that's
right?
how they gonna
Yeah,
feed their family. And that's where it's left at.
yeah.
That's exactly where it's left at. So, I get it, but we definitely not gonna say that hip hop culture is black culture.
Nope, can't.
Um, because hip hop culture is hip hop culture.
Hip hop culture is hip hop culture.
It may be influential of black culture, but it ain't black culture.
Mm-mm.
Um, I'm not even. I'm gonna go as far as to say the NBA ain't black culture. Neither is the
Nope,
NFL or
nope.
none of that stuff. None of that stuff is black culture. That's sports.
Those are sports. Yep.
You know, all that stuff is sports, and they own individual entities. So whatever goes on in them spaces, it's allowed to go on.
I would even go as far as to say, quote unquote, soul food is not black culture.
Talk about it. It's not black
Um,
culture.
when I noticed something the other day. I was watching something. It was showing American. It was dishes around the world, right? And when it got to the American dish, the what's considered an American dish, something that's a staple,
Hmm.
is a Southern dish, right? Like that is what's considered American food overseas. My son was watching some show by some Asian kids doing some. There's some Asian kids and some British kids doing some food tasting and trying to guess the. I don't know. They was doing some weird stuff, but it was very interesting their reactions and their comparisons of how they use the same ingredients,
Okay.
right? You know, comparing textures and stuff like that. The difference between a biscuit and a scone, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, right? Like which one is better? Now we got to fight, right? Because because cats be on some scones, but right,
They both are
uh,
delicious,
they both delicious.
and you can add fruit to both. I mean, the only
They're
difference is
both
just adding some fruit, like,
exactly.
like, like, nah, we're
Right,
not gonna debate a scone and a
let's
biscuit.
go.
Add some fruit.
Right.
Throw some blueberries in it. Use
Either
a
way, right?
scoop. Use a scoop.
Right.
Don't
But
roll it.
but it was southern style food that was, and that's not necessarily black food. It's southern style food, right? Like
No, no.
you
Is the
know,
biscuit American? Is that a American thing?
I don't know. Like I don't think so. I think using cornmeal and flour like that. I think that's an African thing. I think that's cultural. Like um, that the whole kneading of the dough and stuff like that. I think that's I would take that as a I don't know.
Wait, we gotta look that up. We check that out.
Yeah.
But overall, this evening, what is black culture? So I have to do it. I have to I have to, based on the definitions, I have to say that there is no black culture. like it's just not.
Like
Based on the definitions, black people need to get it together. You know what I'm
and
saying?
create a culture.
And create a culture, you know?
100%.
And that starts with something, agreeing upon something,
One thing.
one
Just
thing.
one thing. Just start with one thing.
Because that is something that we have yet to exemplify as a human race, is agreeing upon one thing. I don't know what that thing is.
Nope.
You know
I
what
don't
I'm
even know.
saying?
I don't even know if
But
I care.
but well,
I don't know. That's what I say. I don't
look,
know.
I do care if it's going to continue to cause families
That's true.
to not try to do things collectively because of what I would like to call bad teaching.
I agree with that.
Okay. So to me, like, it don't have to be my family, you know, but I love people. They're people that I love. So, I want to see them flourish and I want to see them do things too. And all we see now is like, yeah, your family can kind of have it together. We see examples of that, you
Hmm.
know, but then we also see examples of families not desiring to have it together, you know, and that's because they don't agree on one thing. So if they can't agree on one thing, it's kind of like our people in DC. They don't agree on anything. They leading like, oh, it's us. No, it's us. No, it's us. No, it's us. I
Yeah.
mean, isn't everybody a government employee? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'd be confused a little bit. Like, it's too much going on with this. No, I want this and I want that. And we can't collectively agree on anything. So I'm just like, these cues, I think people are taking these cues even from stuff like that.
That's bro. That's what I'm saying. Is American culture. That is our example. Those are our standards. We are literally learning, like the way to do things, the way to govern yourself accordingly. Right. If you look at the way that they govern,
Is to be divisive.
is to be divisive. Right. Is bully tactics. Is who can be the most convincing. Who could how can I talk you out of your out of your resources, right? It's to be divisive, right? Is That's what I'm saying. Like that's American culture, bro. Like that is what we do. We're not wrong. We're Americans.
No,
You know?
but definitely we don't have no black culture, y'all.
Definitely don't have no black culture.
You know,
Definitely need one.
if anybody want to come on the platform and argue us that we have black culture, anybody pull up. It don't matter. Anybody pull up. We just gonna go over the definition and our opinion, our insight. That don't mean we right. That don't mean we wrong. We're welcome and open to learn and get exposed to new stuff. The thing is that we not being far-fetched, we not being in no make-believe thing. We talking about the actions. And the actions are not reflective of the idea of black culture.
Yo, bro, I think the only way that you can uh debate this is to say that we misread the definition that
Yeah,
was read,
somebody
right?
will do that because
Like,
look, hold up. You was in the military.
yeah.
It's not always about what it says, it's about the interpretation of what it says. You ever heard that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
yeah.
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that's what like
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like then why even write it?
Correct.
Then why even write it? Why is it even a guideline?
Why is it even a
If
guideline?
it's left to my own interpretation or to your own interpretation,
I could have started out with that.
like we could have just figured out, okay, you know, what we gonna do? And that would have been simple. Like how we gonna fix it? You know? Am I in
Exactly.
trouble? Are you in trouble? Like what we gonna do? So
Again, right? Our standards, right? Like, even though everybody wasn't in the military, our populace is heavily influenced by military um leadership styles and standards
right.
and styles and swagger and stuff like that. What they say, I don't know if they still say it, but like women love, men in uniforms and stuff like that. Um, like the
All the
military, like
all
the
the women
military.
that had loved me. Nah, I'm teasing.
You know,
Just my baby who loved me. That's it. That's it. In my uniform. But yeah.
you know. Um, so again, more places where you have a standard and it's still not what they say there right there. It's still how you interpret it.
How you interpret it, right?
And my interpretation is probably way different from yours, right? And we would have to have a civil conversation about our interpretations and agree on the middle ground, or agree. One of us would have to agree to concede and accept the other's interpretation before we can move forward,
Yeah.
right? And
That's why it's useless to have a guideline. Like because because what's the use of having a guideline if it's left to interpretation? Why isn't it direct, you know, and precise, as to, you know, what the procedures are for whatever you're trying to figure out, or
yeah,
so that always was something that was, you know, an encouragement to keep me out of some nonsense because I'm like, I do not want to be left to interpretation.
nope.
you know, like like come on, like left to interpretation. I mean, anybody could do they could just do anything. You can be reprimanded anyway. Well, I interpret it like this. And then you get people doing that with instructional stuff. That's
Hmm.
just like, oh my God, where does it end? But But that's we can ethnic groups that don't support each other qualify as cultural community?
Nope.
I think we're gonna agree that that's a big no. And currently, do we have a culture that supports each other? Um,
No.
no, we don't. Not enough. That's not saying everybody doesn't, because like we said, black churches get a lot of support. You
A lot of
know,
individuals do a lot of individual things, and
yeah,
individuals collective get they group up.
right.
That's all true things,
But
but
as a culture,
it's not expected. It's not something that is a given. It's not something that's it's not even cultural
right?
for the
I
most
I don't
part.
got another person of another complexion or ethnic background saying I want to be a part of the black culture because they got it going on over there.
Nah.
Nah,
They
not
say they
at
want to
all.
be a part of hip hop.
Yeah, that ain't black culture.
Nah,
That's hip hop. That's hip hop
that's hip
culture.
hop.
You know.
They say they want to play basketball.
Yeah, that's the NBA. Who don't what young kid don't want to grow up and be a professional athlete? They get paid more than teachers
For real.
and police and the military and everybody else and
Yeah,
all the essential personnel people
yeah,
don't make no don't make more money than not even a doctor,
yeah.
not even the highest level of professional education. Uh, you know, in that particular realm, my officer, a admiral, no, sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
you don't make more than
Pushing buttons, guy.
yeah,
Fighting wars and stuff, right?
yeah. Generals,
Yeah.
no,
Nah.
so um
Real talk. Not even the president.
eh,
I'm talking about official salary.
salary wise, no. Salary
I'm talking.
wise. Salary wise though. But privilege wise,
Yeah, that's different. I'm talking. I'm
stacking it to the
talking.
sky.
He's
Stacking
like,
it to the sky. I was like, man, tell me something, man. Give me a little tip. You know what I'm
you know what I'm
saying?
saying? For real.
For real. Share the wealth. But Dag, it's kind of saddening. It's kind of saddening. I knew that this would be a great conversation this evening. Um, but it's one that we wish we had some more answers. But we gave some solutions. Like let's leave on the solutions. We know that that black culture don't exist. Okay, we need to improve some things. We need to do some things. But the main thing is we need to agree on one thing.
Just one thing.
And and up,
We need to agree on that. We need to agree that we need to agree on one thing.
we need to agree that we need to agree on one thing. If we could do that, oh man, what DB Schefter? Oh man, don't do it.
Yo,
Don't do
that's
it.
that's what we need right there. We
That's
need to agree
dangerous
that we need to agree that we need to agree on one thing.
for real. But it would be nice, in a perfect world.
Yeah.
It would be nice. It would be nice to see that. Um, and my thing isn't even like something that would be like like we've heard it in the past, like build a black America within white America, without white America, and all that. You can't do that. That's impossible. Okay. So maybe at the time when that was being said that was possible, but it's impossible. Okay. And I'm not even promoting that, encouraging that at all. I'm saying we can do something with each other, something simple as just making an effort to just spend a couple of your dollars with somebody that look like you when you get paid.
Facts.
We already have to pay all our other stuff to people that we know is not coming into your effective community. Um, when I pay my mortgage or my rent, I know that it does not help BK Soul Farm at all.
That's true.
When I pay my car insurance and everything, I know that it does not help BK Soul Farm. It does not help I Am Jazz. Like I said, now it does help if they need a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? But but we
That's true.
but we promoting, everybody be financially literate and be responsible for their own. We promoting self-sustainability, right?
Hmm.
So in promoting that, we encouraging others to learn, you know, provide for yourself, learn how to feed yourself, and be responsible with your finances and everything else in life. All right. But we as a people want to see a collective. It would just be, wouldn't it be great? Just one time,
Because we all want to see it.
just one time,
We all want to see it.
not for anything negative,
Nope.
not to paint the White House black or none of that, none of that. You know what
Nope.
I'm saying? But just to see black people working together. Uh-oh. Problem. Why?
Why?
Ain't nobody trying to take over nothing. You know what I'm saying? But that's the only way we're gonna be able to improve the quality of your life. Cause right now it's just, oh, he got this, she got that, they
Yeah.
got this, they doing this, they doing that. Sounds like a whole bunch of jealousy and envy and hatred. That
Yep.
don't sound like champagne and no campaign and nobody champagne and nobody campaign at all.
Not participating at all.
That just seemed like rather be a watcher and a looker than a participator and a beneficiary.
It's all action, bro. Like, what they say, works without actions is dead, right? Like, you just can't talk. You gotta put your feet and your into motion, right? You actually got to do stuff, right? And you got to do it consistently, right? You got to keep the current going so it can have currency, right? Like when you build up resistance, right? Currency get a little, it works, bro.
Right. Prayer for my, because we talked about the Christian folks. So we got, prayer without works is wasted prayer.
Yeah,
Right.
prayer. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Cause I can ask God all day, but I still need to get up and fill out some applications and do some callbacks and find out what's going on with it. Right.
yeah,
If God gave me the strength to wake up this morning, God gave me the strength to do that stuff too.
yeah.
Not just call somebody and be like, "You gonna hook me up with a job?" And then I don't never call them back or nothing. They said they was gonna call me, so I'm just sitting around waiting. Come on, man. But I'm just sitting around waiting and praying, but I ain't doing no action.
Not doing nothing.
You know,
Right?
and this my little thing right here. I might get some backlash for this. I don't care though. But and this isn't before I say this isn't to say that we don't need spirituality. We don't need whatever person's uh grounding is, their religious grounding or their spirituality. But I'm definitely gonna say this. When bill collectors call, they don't care how spiritual you is.
Nope,
They don't care who you believe in.
nope.
Okay? They don't care how good you are, how much tithe you pay. They want their money. Plain and simple.
They don't even necessarily care about your situation.
I'm just keeping it on that level. You know, that we're gonna need some spirituality when we leave this place, but currently we need some money. So I encourage everybody to try to spend some money, some of your
Yeah,
money, with somebody that look like you. That's the challenge, you know. Like I know it's almost an impossible task to ask everybody to agree on one thing. Like it's crazy based on you know, what we dealing with already. But I'm just like, it ain't hard for you to actively try to spend some of your money with somebody that look like you, a legitimate business, you know. And it doesn't matter what it is. It don't matter what they got going on, you know. As long as it's legit, you know, whatever their products, services are, try to spend some people with somebody. Try to spend a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be, you know, it don't have to be, you know, 400, 500, $600, $700. It don't have to be all that. Spend a couple dollars with somebody that look like you to keep it circling, you know, within the community that doesn't exist. But
Keep the current flowing.
you know, but it'll begin to if the actions, you know, are exemplified. So, you know, that's what
Real talk.
that's what we're gonna conclude tonight for this show. Want to thank everybody, BK Soul Farm, especially I Am Jazz Garcelle, for pulling up and discussing this you know, this unique topic. You know, it's a very unique topic, and you know, we hope everyone who watched this evening got something from it. You know, an insight. You know, like we always say, it's not we're not trying to be right or wrong here. We just giving you our perspective on how we see it. You know, we don't come with no gossip. We don't do that stuff. We trying to focus on some real things that like people really dealing with in real life, and we dealing with it too. So thank everybody for coming out. Make sure you for pulling up. Make sure you like and share the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. In the description, we have links if you want to support the channel. You can go and check out all of the amazing things that we have and the Cigarden Panel has on their websites. And everyone have a positive and productive start to your week. And we will see you again right here next Sunday at 8 p.m. on Cigar Sundays.
Peace.